I am Josh Galindo. I've built several successful businesses utilizing the one tool everybody has, the mind. I am here to guide, coach, and prepare you. We will debate, discuss, and grow our minds together so you can obtain your own success. Fuck average, be legendary. This is my podcast. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good.
It is afternoon.
It is afternoon.
Because we've built this podcast room to make it so it's an impromptu.
Yes.
So that we can schedule it on our own terms.
Yes.
So we're going to have to get used to good evening, good afternoon, and good morning.
Yeah.
So this is our first podcast since Going Galindo podcast that we're just doing, you and I.
This is, back to the OG crew.
The OG crew. It's kind of been an evolution, this second round of podcasting. We had a lot of figuring it out to do, which good thing that we know how to figure shit out.
I know, right?
So we've had a lot of change happen over here at the Galindo headquarters.
Yes, lots of change.
So Daniel Jones, who was a ride or die integral component to the growth of Galindo Group Real Estate, it was time to kick him out of the nest in a very positive way.
Yeah, I'm like, kick him out doesn't sound good.
No, I think the best way to word that is the nest. You know what I'm saying? Like, he came in, he didn't know how to do real estate, didn't know how to do wholesaling, didn't know how to do flips, didn't know how to, he had a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And he learned and he helped us grow, which was a huge plus.
Yes.
Great friend. And it just got to a point where we looked at each other and it was kind of like I think we're at our peak level where we can utilize each other's services.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's one thing where it's like, no, I can still use you. Can you hang out for a little bit longer?
Yeah, or I still need you.
Or I still need you. And can you let me hang out for a little bit longer? And I think it was a really beautiful way of looking at each other and going, this is it, dog. Like, we've done a lot.
Yeah.
We outlasted all the competitors.
Right.
As far as partnerships go.
Yeah.
We made a bunch of money together. I think this is where we go our separate ways.
Yes.
And that was an interesting thing to do. It was the right thing to do. The main thing that I'm proud of about with this is that it wasn't a blow up. It wasn't, fuck you, get the fuck out, you fucked me.
Yeah.
Or he feels like I fucked him.
Right.
It was just a realistic growing apart. The next chapter of our lives didn't require each other.
Right.
And I always say the people that get you there are not necessarily the same people that get you to where you want to be.
Yes.
And I think that applied for both of us. So in a nutshell, we shook hands. I said, hey, go out there and crush it.
Yeah.
Good luck, brother. I hope you make all the money that you can possibly make. I'm going to stay right here and keep grinding and make as much money as I can make. And it was a peaceful parting.
Yeah, which is different from...
Yeah, the past.
The past, yeah.
Which is what has taught me this round of a way to part ways in a very peaceful, productive approach. I hadn't learned that.
Yeah.
I had been learning it, but on very small scales with the miscellaneous employees or partners that I'd had. Right. I learned to just have a lot more peace around moving on from different people.
Right.
What I did learn, because this is applicable to almost anybody that's listening to this. Most people start out in their basement with a partner.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize is that if they are truly motivated people, they're going to build a behemoth. And then they're going to go, we've outgrown each other.
Right.
And then they're going to look at each other and go, well, how do we split this behemoth up? And then all of their sphere of influence is going to pass judgment and go, well, why didn't you guys think of that in the beginning? Why don't you have a breakup plan in place? Why didn't you have all this in writing?
Well, you don't plan to break up.
Well, one, I didn't know I was going to build a behemoth.
Right.
And two, I didn't know we were going to break up.
Yeah.
Or go our separate ways. So to provide comfort to those that are in that journey or in that moment where they're having those conversations with themselves about maybe this isn't the same partnership that maybe this partnership isn't serving me like I thought, or like it had in the past. And that's not a negative thing.
Right.
That's what I learned. The other thing that I learned watching another partnership that we are close to split is when they split, it was newsworthy. But it was newsworthy for about 20 seconds, and then I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I was right back to worrying about my own problems.
Yeah.
And there was no better perspective that created comfort than that. So me watching a partnership split in front of me, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It was like, did you hear so-and-so split up? Yes. Okay. Back to our problems.
Yeah.
So then when I had to go through the same thing with Danny, where we agreed to go our separate ways, there wasn't this fear of judgment because just like me, I didn't give a fuck. And if somebody gave a fuck, then their fuck doesn't mean shit to me because they clearly have enough time to care about what's happening in my life, which means they don't have shit going on in their lives.
Right. I think the other thing is too, like when you, like the other one that you're talking about, when they split up, it's like, oh my gosh, no way. But then you think like, well, what was the contrary? They were going to stay together forever and be partners forever. It's like, no, that's not realistic. So it's like, I can't believe we're at the moment that they weren't going to be together.
Yeah.
You know, but eventually that was going to happen because thinking that they'd stay together till the end of time is totally unrealistic.
It's totally unrealistic. And what was interesting is I actually thought that was the case for some partnerships I had in my business. But the integral mentors in my life all split. Yeah. To Birdie Blood at one point. They were two real estate guys doing real estate together. They split up. Yeah. It became J.A. Kennedy Real Estate Company, and it became Tiberti Real Estate, or Blood Real Estate, or whatever it was, Blood Group or something. So they split. Believe it or not, Kennedy and Joe Kennedy and Dan Tutlin, they were partners in the beginning. Yeah. They split up. And those are people that I value in my journey when making decisions. I always say, well, what would they do, or what have they taught me to do at one point in life? And I should have looked back and probably analyzed more of their journey and applied it to mine. Yeah. But the reality is, I don't fucking know anybody that's in business together forever.
Well, I also think that when you're building these like big companies with so much growth, there's you and your partner's got to have a lot of potential too, right? So you guys work together to build this, but it wouldn't become what it was if you partnered with somebody that doesn't have the potential to do it themselves, right?
No, right. Totally.
So it's only a matter of time, it feels like.
Yeah, it is. And I think that that's what this conversation for me is more about, is that this is a conversation to enlighten people that partnerships are not meant to last forever.
Except for mine.
Unless it's marriage. But they're not. They're not meant to last forever. And it's okay if they don't last. And the main thing is understanding when it's time, it's time. And what I've learned is every time that I've had to make a split with somebody, I've had exponential growth afterwards. Yeah. I remember I had a gentleman come in here and say, man, Josh, seems like every relationship you have with somebody, it doesn't seem like it ends well, but I'm not seeing that because I see you and I see a good person. So what am I missing? And I said back to him, I go, you have to remember that I haven't been in business for 3 years. Right. 5 years, 6 years.
If you had 6 partners in that time, that'd be a little bit different.
Right. I've been in business for 18 years. Now you have to take the amount of business that I've done in 18 years. I've bought 1,100 homes. I have renovated 1,100 homes. I've sold 1,100 homes. I've watched probably 500 real estate agents come in and out of this office and hang their license and move their license and come back and then leave and then come back again. I have purchased 84 rental properties or more because we've sold a few and then rebought more. And we've circulated tenants through each of those properties, probably 100 tenants over our course of conducting business. Yeah. I've had land deals. I've had businesses I've been a part of. I've had multiple employees. The amount of business I've done to have had 7 partnerships go come and go.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. I'm crushing it.
Yeah, and it's about growth too. It's like with your original partner, you can't stay there forever. You're not gonna grow.
And if you're too oblivious to recognize that you've outgrown each other, then you're suffocating your growth.
Right.
If you're holding together just so that you can stay together, then you're not truly focused on growth. You should be scrubbing the decision to stay together. Are we still growing? Is this the direction that we want to be going? And you got to look at both parties and go, are we going the direction you want to be going? And there's a good chance that they're probably saying the same thing. You both sense it.
Yeah. And I think it's about like people changing what they want in their life too. It's like, maybe they don't want that anymore. They thought they wanted it and they don't.
Right.
Yeah. A little bit more peace for less work. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the other model is, I like the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. These are boy bands that were together.
Yeah.
For all 6, 7, 8 members, you'd probably know.
Right.
How many members?
No.
NSYNC.
10. Well, 5 in NSYNC.
Okay, 5 in NSYNC. 10 in Backstreet Boys?
No. You were saying both of them. So,
so 10 total.
I added them together.
Right,
just focus on NSYNC. We don't want to give Backstreet Boys
any credit. No love for the Backstreet Boys.
No love.
So NSYNC, there was 5 members.
Yeah.
For them to make any money, they got to do like 50 concerts a year and tour the whole United States or world. Right. Versus if Justin Timberlake peels off, goes and does 4 concerts, he makes the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So then if he does 10, he doubles his money.
Right.
If he does 20, now he triples his money.
And they can all go do the same thing.
Yeah. So what did the leave do for us? Is first what I always have to establish is it's a non-emotional experience. Mm-hmm. You get back in the driver's seat and you go and you drive. And you just focus on driving. You focus on staying in the zone. You focus on the productivity. You don't get stuck in your head and the emotion and the bullshit and the drama. All that does is fuel that flame.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's you just have to become more like hyper aware. Like, okay, where are these holes if I need to fill them? Not even worrying about what's already happened.
Right. No, exactly. What's happened. Now it's focused on where are the holes.
Moving forward.
Yeah, you start paying attention to your landscape. Where's the potholes? Yeah. Where's the potholes? When you see one, you immediately fill it.
Yeah.
And so here we are, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months later, month and a half probably.
Yeah, month and a half.
And all the holes in my boat are full or filled.
Yep.
And we're back to jamming.
Yeah.
And so I think what is really powerful in this podcast is for anybody listening gets to take away life lessons on how to handle these breakups.
Yeah.
Is these splits. I don't even know the right word for it. These relinquishments of partnerships. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But and that there's nothing wrong with them. It doesn't have to end in a bloodbath.
It's just a chapter that ends.
It's just a chapter that ends. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. And I can tell you from experience, my first big split with Casey Ryan, because everybody listening probably knows.
PTSD.
It was a bloodbath on both ends. And so for me, if you can look at your partner and go, do you have any intentions on hurting me? And they say no. And I can look back at them and go, do you think I have any intentions in hurting you? And they say no. You shake hands, you hug, and you move on. Now, let's talk about in the event that somebody does try to maliciously hurt you. The first one you probably move on and bring to their attention. But you don't want to create World War III.
Right.
And then hopefully it was an oversight or it was letting them know that you are paying attention. Let's say they hurt you again. In my opinion, it's gloves off and it's World War III. Because there's nothing more important to me in my life than preserving my business, preserving my intellectual property, preserving my livelihood. And it's not for me. It's for me.
Yeah.
But it's also for you. It's for my children. It's for my employees. It is for all of the agents that entrust Galindo Group Real Estate to hang their license at. That is what I'm fighting for. It's bigger than just me. So message for anybody listening is if you fuck with me too many times, then it's World War III.
Scorch.
It's scorch earth. It's full-blown bloodbath. And I learned this from Mr. Taberti as well. He goes, here's the thing about going into a fight is you're going to get punched once, twice, 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
just know that you're going to punch them back just as many times, if not more. And you both leave battered and bruised. But I can tell you, I don't want that in my life anymore. No, that's what drove this decision to be peaceful and productive and encouraging. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you just kind of adapt. And the other thing is I've had employees that, not even referring to the Danny thing, but like employees that have left where my anxiety like skyrockets.
Yeah.
And what I end up doing is I actually end up holding on to them longer than I should have, because I'm afraid that what they're doing, I wouldn't be able to get back in the saddle and do.
Yeah.
I don't have this fear anymore, but I did have it at one point. I want to share with the listeners. I remember when one of these girls left 2 months after you announcing that you had breast cancer.
2 months. It was like 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. That's okay. Some aren't mentally tough.
Yeah.
And we had to wrap up a bunch of transactions.
Mm-hmm.
How quick did we jump back in that fucking driver's seat?
Yeah.
Dude, we were flying through all the transactions that weren't brought up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
And what I reminded myself, and the lesson I took away from that moment was, I built the fucking thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I have the blueprint. It's right fucking here.
Yeah.
And I could turn it back on at any moment.
Memory.
Even if it's not something that I've done recently.
Mm-hmm.
Put me back in the driver's seat and I'll fucking do laps around whoever I had in that position prior to. And that gives me enough time to find the next person. One, it refreshes you, which I was like, that's a good thing.
Right.
And then 2, it gives you some time. Never, ever believe you can't redo what you've delegated to somebody else.
Right. Right.
Always. So I hope that instills some confidence in anybody listening. But it was kind of something that I thought we needed to address. What other change did we have?
I mean, I feel like that was the
major.
The major, yeah.
There's some other perspective that I'm having, because this is a candid podcast where we talk authentically. Some people, whatever they believe that they are worth being paid, if you try to pay them more than that, they malfunction.
Because they don't think they're deserving? Or
and we can get into the depths of it, but I don't want to inappropriately label anybody. What I kind of want to go from the other angle, but I had to start with that.
Okay.
Is we've brought on some hourly employees to fill in some of these holes. Yeah. These people are the happiest fucking people on the planet. They're happy. It's easy to navigate. Yeah. They're easy. I do this, they do it. Mm-hmm. No following up, having to have a third hard drive in my brain to keep track of all of the things I asked them to do. Yeah. No. And the other thing is gig workers. Mm-hmm. I love the gig worker economy. Yeah. So for the social media or the websites or different things, you just hire out a gig worker, and it's a much more cost-effective approach. You need them. When you need them, you pay for them, and when you don't, they're not there.
Yeah, and I think that we're learning that people are better staying in their lane instead of spreading out like all these duties and delegating them to one person and paying them more. It's just not efficient.
It's not efficient. We're looking at these people through our lens.
Right.
Fine, I'll just do 5 things at once.
Yeah.
Why? Because I want all the money. Mm-hmm. But it's not sustainable.
No.
And then once you start paying these high premiums, it gets very difficult to unwind those deals.
Yeah.
What I can say is I'm extremely grateful to every single human being that has come into this office. Yeah. Honestly, if you go all the way back to the beginning, everybody's helped contribute to the growth of Galindo Group Real Estate.
We've learned a lot.
And we've learned so freaking much. And the thing is, I would say we're seasoned vets, but we're not even close.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But the amount of business, the amount of growth. I mean, when did we move into this office?
In 2018, September.
We moved from the basic little baby office space, office development office. From that, to give some perspective, which was 1,000 square feet. Yeah. Okay. To now we're at 3,500 square feet, and we're taking down another 4,500 square feet. So that would be 7. So we'll have an 8,000 square foot office. Wow. Yeah. Just saying that out loud is actually shocking.
It's a little intimidating.
Yeah, we'll have an 8,000 square foot office called Galindo Group Real Estate. Yeah. Think how much growth that is. Yeah. And in 2018, you said? So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
So in 5 years.
Whoa. Holy shit. Yeah. In 5 years, we went from 1,000 square feet to 8,000 square feet and owning the building that we're operating out of. Yeah. That's a lot of growth.
That's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
That's Kennedy's whole life.
So I don't know what you take away from all that, but
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
Yeah.
We have some big announcements too.
We do have some big announcements,
We'll
but I think we need to wait.
You save the third one for when the contract's signed.
Yeah. We got to wait for that.
Do you think it's appropriate to talk about what's going to go out front?
Yeah, we could talk about that.
So we're building a 42-foot LED sign.
Yes.
In front of Galindo Group Real Estate.
So like other business complexes, how they have the main sign.
So ours is going to be called Galindo Square.
Yeah.
So we're kind of defining the name of the development. Generalizing it. A lot of thought went into that. I didn't want to put Galindo Group Real Estate on the top of this very expensive sign because when we outgrow this space.
Right. Because nothing lasts forever.
Because nothing lasts forever. That's absolutely right. When we outgrow this space or it makes more economical sense to give it to somebody else, we don't want to define the development as Galindo Group Real Estate.
Right.
So we created a neutral name called Galindo Squared. This sign is top of the game, state-of-the-art technology. We'll be able to build a graphic and basically text it to the sign. And boom, have the sign change.
Is the sign dual-sided?
Ooh, I didn't even ask that question. Shit.
I just thought about that.
I just thought about that too. I would think it is.
I would think so too, but I don't know.
Look at you guys. You guys are witnessing this right here. So we have to ask that question.
Yeah.
I suspect it's dual-sided. It would be very weird to have a blank side.
I think it would be weird, but you gotta be sure.
I think it's dual-sided.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll double check that. But so that's going to go out front. What we're going to do is put on that sign and advertise here.
Yep.
That sign's going to cost us about $145,000. Sounds like a shocking number, but how many rentals do we buy that often range around that price point?
Right.
A lot. Now, what do we get to save? We don't have repairs.
Right.
We don't have vacancies. We don't. I mean, we kind of have some vacancies that you could factor in, but hypothetically speaking, we don't have vacancies. We don't have property taxes. We don't have insurance. We don't have all of the overhead that comes with a rental. So we intend on selling at this moment. This is the price points, but it could change. Each slide for about $500 per slide. So we'll have a graphic that says advertise here, $500 a month. And then the local restaurant, the local nail salon, the local car dealer, mechanic, whoever it is within this vicinity can advertise on our sign. So if I just get 4 businesses to advertise on our sign at $500 a month, that's $2,000.
Yeah.
On a $145,000 investment.
Better than a rental.
It's better than a rental.
And less work than an Airbnb.
And way less work than an Airbnb. And not to mention the value that it brings to the building overall.
Right.
Anybody that ends up buying this building, that's a tremendous amount of value.
Yeah.
They don't have to build it. They don't have to go through the headache. They'll pay a premium to have a sign already there and be able to properly advertise all their businesses.
Technically speaking, does that increase the value of the building since there's tenants? Like, is
yes, it's another cash flowing asset.
Yeah, because I was going to say commercial
Holy
real
shit.
estate is based off of what you can lease that space for, right? That's how you can get loans on it.
Wow, we just got another tenant.
Well, if you can get more tenants.
No, it's a new tenant.
Right.
Yeah, paying $2,000 a month. Let's just play that out. If it's $2,000 a month, times it by 12, $24,000 a year. If you wanted to earn 10% on your money, you would buy that, and you'd have to pay $240,000, right?
Yeah.
Most people will operate on probably a 6 or 7 cap. So if you take that 10% and divide it by 2 for easy math, it's a 5% cap. Now that sign would be worth $480,000. So that adds about $400,000 in value to the building.
I got you.
Wow. Yeah.
That's exciting.
That is exciting. Thanks,
exciting.
babe.
You're welcome. If you need to feel better about it.
I feel much better about it as long as it's double-sided.
Yeah.
What I just realized, I just watched the Formula One Netflix series. And I ended the 2023 season, which really takes place in 2022.
Right.
And the highlight of the next season.
The upcoming season.
Was that Formula One's going to be in Vegas.
Oh my God.
Okay. Now we all knew that.
Yeah.
But let's look at this from a separate angle. It's so exciting. Netflix makes the Formula One experience seem way cooler than it is. It's cool. but it's going to show Vegas.
Yeah.
What is that going to do? And then all of the viewers that watch that all over the world. Like, what is that going to, you want to talk about a badass Las Vegas commercial? The Netflix series for Formula One is going to represent Las Vegas to the max.
Yeah. I actually just thought about this. So think about this in probably what's June to February, 8 or 10 months.
Yes.
There's going to be the Stanley Cup. There's going to be a Stanley Cup final win, Formula One, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
I know. Right.
Why
and all
would
this
you
is,
live anywhere else?
Why would you live anywhere else? And what is that going to do for real estate?
Yeah.
It's going to skyrocket.
There's no way that it's going to go down. There's no way.
No, I listened to, you heard me listening to that.
Yeah, that
last
podcast
night.
yesterday.
Yeah, it was very interesting. And I don't know how much detail I want to get into because I don't want to bore everybody. Not even, some people would be interested in it, but I don't know how much time we have. But they were talking about, there's 330 million, I'm going to round the numbers, 330 million Americans.
Okay.
170 million of them work.
Okay.
And there was a big argument that the only way to get an influx of inventory is if interest rates came back down.
Okay.
So that someone would be willing to, which was my argument, so that someone would be willing to let go of their 3% interest rate and be able to go and borrow again at 4 or 4.5. That's a little bit more logical than going and borrowing at 7.5. Then they were talking about, well, if interest rates come back down, it's because the economy is suffering.
Okay.
Which is what the Fed is trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
If the economy is suffering, the last indicator that the Fed is looking at to see if their rate hikes are working is the unemployment, the jobless claims report.
Okay.
That's the term of it, the jobless claims report. So then the argument was that if the Fed stops raising the rates and interest rates start to come back down, it's because there's no jobs.
Okay.
Well, this guy's argument based on facts and graphs are that the people that they're called forced equity sellers. So they sell their home because they have equity and they've lost their job.
Okay.
Most of the people that are going to unfortunately go on unemployment, which this is not my opinion, I think it's a terrible idea, but the Fed wants to do it, will be renters. They would lose their jobs first. Make sense?
Yeah.
Just that demographic loses their jobs first, which would then not put more inventory on the market because they don't have a house to sell.
Right.
Basically, I'm not doing a great job explaining it, but I'm doing my best. Basically, there is no solution in sight for this lack of inventory. Mm-hmm. He said the only time in American history that there's been a surplus of inventory was in 2007 and 2008. Otherwise, every other time in history, there's been a lack of inventory. Mm-hmm. And it's simple. The Galindo family alone has reproduced 4 new human beings that will need homes. Mm-hmm. Times that by like how many people are having babies. And think that at some point when they turn 18, 19, 20, they're having to gobble up, for each one human being that already owns a home, 4 new ones roll up and need another home.
Right.
So our population growth is outpacing the amount of supply we're able to provide.
Right.
So generally speaking, throughout history, this guy went back to like 1930. Humans are reproducing equal to or greater than what we are producing in housing inventory. But everybody's stuck on that one time in history.
Yeah.
Where the market's going to crash, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to.
That was a long-winded summary of my little podcast last night.
It was good. It was educational.
I think Vegas real estate is absolutely bulletproof.
I do too.
100% bulletproof. I don't think there's a time. And what he was saying is that if you did start to see cracks in the system, everything is tracked now so precisely and quickly that you would start to see inventory skyrocketing.
Right.
So if you start seeing inventory going up by 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, and eventually doubling, and then possibly, timing in a half, doubling in a half, that's an indicator. If you're holding real estate, you need to get out of it. You need to start selling it. You need to start dumping it, whatever it is. But there's so many indicators that you're not going to get caught holding the bag and have a house go from 300 to 40,000.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many resources now. That's not going to happen.
He even talked about how there was a reform to the bankruptcy law in 2005 that made it very difficult. I don't know if it was 2005, maybe 2007, that made it very difficult for banks to take the home back.
Oh.
Yeah, so it takes just so much time. Anyway, I'm all in on Las Vegas real estate. We're buying houses now that aren't even crazy cash flowing assets.
Right.
They cash flow because I'm a believer that you got to buy stuff that cash flows in any economy, but that are just such great assets because we know that we're in this for the 3 to 5 year plan and beyond. That in 3 to 5 years, we're not going to give a shit what it cash flowed the day that we bought it because it's such a cash flowing monster in 3 to 5 years. So we're now building for our future. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, right.
What else we got?
All right. Well, I mean, I have to go.
I think I bored the fuck out of Krystal. She turned off.
Didn't. No, you didn't.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go get some tattoos on Friday.
Yeah.
Where are you getting them?
I don't know. I did all these fake tattoos to place them out to see if I like these spots.
She looks like Angelina Jolie.
But they're all temporary tattoos.
Which one do you like the most?
Think it out. I don't know. I mean, I think I like them all, to be completely honest, but I'm not going to roll up and get 5 tattoos at once.
What's the one on there that one's supposed to say?
I just like the placement. I mean, I just like.
Oh, it goes all the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know if I'm a fan of that one.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing the 26 one right here. You know.
I mean, it'll look cute. Maybe it's the B.
Yeah, it's.
Right, and that's not what your point was. It was just to give a visual representation.
I know, this says everything happens for a reason. That's definitely not something I would get tattooed to me.
No, you don't want that. Then when something bad happens, you think it was for a reason.
Yeah, I was told that too many times. I'm like, what's the reason?
Right. Where's these fucking reasons? All right, so we'll find out next episode where you got tattoos, where I got tattoos. Krystal wants me to get one right above my crotch that says Josh's with an arrow, or Krystal's with an arrow pointing down.
Yes.
I told her I'm on the fence about that one, but I'll let you know on the next podcast if we're going to do it. All right, get out of here. Go grab the kids.
Okay, I love you.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye. Hey guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you guys want to learn more about the tools, tips, and tricks that I use on a daily basis to maintain my success, stay connected with me through all of my socials at I am Josh Galindo.